KGW TV, Portland. From all over the Northwest, when news happens, you'll see it on News 8. And now, News 8 at 11.
Good evening. A Salem security guard has been murdered at the State Fairgrounds in Salem, and some 24 investigators are at the murder scene tonight trying to piece together information. They say it happened around 4 this morning at the exhibition hall where a sports show was scheduled. Not only was the guard killed, but a fire was set in the hall. Investigators say the suspect took a vehicle from one of the displays, and they are asking the public to help track it down. It is a 1992 Ford Explorer, dark red with tan trim. They say it has front end damage and damage to the top because the suspect apparently drove it through the door of the building. They want anyone who may have seen that Ford Explorer after 4 this morning to call 911.
Well, certainly the vehicle's missing, and maybe there may be other property. And we'll be talking to the various vendors tomorrow morning also to check with them and confirm whether things were taken.
When you say there may be other...
Authorities have not released the name of the man killed, but say he worked for Creative Security Services. They also are reticent to answer questions about how he might have died. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. There is good news tonight for those evacuated Sheridan residents. The state has told them they can go home now, and the high school will open tomorrow morning. More than 100 people were kept from their homes longer than a week after this grain elevator burned down. Health officials worry that pesticides and herbicides stored at the elevator had contaminated nearby houses. This afternoon, the Department of Environmental Quality announced there is no danger at 20 of the 24 homes. The 4 contaminated homes will have heavy plastic and planks put over their yards while experts decide what to do next. A bout with bronchitis has forced Governor Barbara Roberts to postpone an announcement about state layoffs. A news conference scheduled for tomorrow has been canceled. Roberts had called the news conference to discuss proposals developed by state agencies in response to her order to cut 4,000 state jobs. A spokesperson for the governor said the news conference would be rescheduled. Sparks were flying and fingers pointing tonight in Chicago at the latest debate between the candidates for the Democratic presidential nomination. Illinois and Michigan hold crucial primaries Tuesday. The hottest words were exchanged between frontrunner Governor Bill Clinton and former California Governor Jerry Brown. Brown said questions about Clinton's character have seriously damaged his electability.
So it's not only corruption, it's an environmental disaster, and it's the kind of conflict of interest that is incompatible in the kind of public servant we expect from a president of the United States.
It doesn't sound like you could run as vice president.
No, it doesn't. I feel sorry for Jerry Brown. I served with him as governor in the late 70s. He asked me to support him for president once.
Did you?
Of course not.
Clinton then charged Brown with reinventing himself every year or two to get elected.
But you ought to be ashamed of yourself for jumping on my wife. You're not worth being on the same platform as my wife. I'll tell you something, Mr. Clinton. Now, don't try to escape it. Ralph Nader called me this afternoon. He read me the article from the Washington Post. Does that make it true? I was shocked by it. I was shocked by it because I don't think someone in government should be funneling money into his wife's law firm.
Governor Clinton, you were poking your finger at him. He poked it back. It's your turn, Governor
Jerry
Clinton.
comes here with his family wealth and his $1,500 suit and makes a lying accusation about my wife. That doesn't make it true. Are you saying they lie?
The other major Democratic candidate, former Senator Paul Tsongas, stayed out of the finger-pointing, but later said he agreed that Clinton's involvement with the savings and loan executive was inexcusable. House members who wrote bad checks at the House bank spent the weekend trying to save their careers. Some of the worst violators are from New York.
No laws were violated. No rules were transgressed.
Brooklyn Congressman Steve Solars is high up on the congressional list of alleged check bouncers with 743 bad checks. But Solars, in a telephone interview, said all of the checks have been covered and that he did nothing illegal. Another Brooklyn Congressman, Adolphus Towns, wrote 408 bad checks, and Queens Representative Jim Schuler has 169 bad checks marked against his name. But neither Schuler nor Solars nor Towns comes close to the worthless check record allegedly achieved by Long Island Congressman Robert Mrazek. At 972 bad checks, he has the highest number of any present member of Congress. If it could go wrong, it did. That's how a congressional report sums up the way the Army handled telling a serviceman's family of his death in the Persian Gulf War. The Army originally said Sergeant Douglas Fielder was killed by the enemy rather than the friendly fire that actually killed him. Though the report says the Army bungled the news to Fielder's family, it found no evidence of conspiracy or cover-up. Two natural gas lines exploded near White Bluff, Tennessee today, shooting a wall of flame 200 feet into the air. 4 homes were set on fire by the explosion, and residents of the area were evacuated. Emergency workers cannot get close enough to the gas line to tell if anyone has been killed yet. Several people have been treated for minor injuries. The fire is continuing to burn, and authorities say they will have to let the blaze burn itself out. The fire is reported to be shaking the ground a quarter-mile away. There is a good chance that Rodney King will take the stand tomorrow in his brutality trial against 4 Los Angeles police officers. It has been a year and 2 weeks since a bystander videotaped these scenes, causing an uproar about police and the use of force. Since an appearance in a hospital shortly after the beating, King has been in seclusion, but it is anticipated he will reappear to testify in the case. Meanwhile, some jurors have been excused from the trial because of health reasons. The jury is now half male, half female, but still contains no black members. A plane flips over in a crash landing in Vancouver. That story is just ahead on News 8 at 11. Also, Oregon's Hollywood star is shining brighter these days. And later in sports, the Shamrock Run.
This edition of News 8 is closed captioned through a generous grant from Smith's Home Furnishings, because nobody cares like Smith's.
Basketball star Nancy Lieberman exposes her private love match with tennis ace Martina Navratilova.
Monday.
Just a little good advice.
At Binion's, you'll find 2 kinds of professionals. People who know about optics and lenses and making quality glasses, and people who know about facial shapes and frames and making you look great. So about an hour later,
You're gonna love the way you
look for Binion's newspaper coupons and buy one, get one free, or we'll pay for your eye exam. And you make no payments for 90 days when you use your Sears charge at Binion's.
Believe it or not, we do as much volume in used cars as we do in new. We don't have to turn that trade-in into cash the same day the customer comes in and trades his car in. So that helps the customer. The customer can come in with a trade-in that he may not be offered as much money for somewhere else, and we can go ahead and pay the extra dollars, take his car in trade, and resell it. So that's why I say, if you don't come see me today, I can't save you any money.
Channel 8 News has teamed up with Cellular One to give its customers the power to report news when it happens. Cellular One customers are often the first to see and report emergencies to 911. Now they can be the first to report news events too. By calling Star TV 8, they can instantly talk to Channel 8 News. Keep an eye out for your community. Call 911 first if it's an emergency, then call Star TV 8. Both are free calls for Cellular One customers. Let Cellular One put the power in your hands with Star TV 8 and Channel 8 News.
A single-engine plane crash-landed at the Evergreen Airport in Vancouver this afternoon. It landed short of the runway on the grass, and the impact tore off the front landing gear. That caused the plane to flip upside down, but amazingly, the pilot and the passenger were not injured. The Pacific Fisheries Management Council is considering banning all salmon fishing in Oregon, Washington, and California. There's been such a dramatic decline in salmon stocks, officials are desperate. Reporter Kevin Baird spent the day with some fishermen in Westport, Washington.
Commercial and sports salmon fishermen along the Washington coast are reacting with angry disbelief. The Pacific Fisheries Management Council is considering a ban on coastal salmon fishing this summer.
These people that are involved and dependent on the salmon fishery here are just holding their heads above water. This kind of a deal will be devastating on them.
The council is considering the unprecedented closure because Hood Canal coho, along with a number of other stock, suffered significant losses during the past 2 years.
We've had some tremendous floods here in western Washington. And of course, those coho are in the streams trying to survive very, very poor conditions during the winter. The summer drought also added to that problem in September of 1990.
A ban on fishing is one method to try and guarantee enough salmon return to spawn. 2 other options are almost as grim, limiting the harvest to 100,000 or 160,000 coho compared to last year's take of 320,000. In an economy dominated by tourism and fishing, many are bracing for possible disaster. Chris Haynes' charter boat, the Sudsy, was booked solid last summer.
I think a lot of people would be selling their boats I don't think they would survive.
Many are hoping for compromise.
There will be limited fishing on the coast. There will be limited fishing, in my judgment, in Puget Sound as well, because the stocks that we're responding to that are the most in critical need of help are Puget Sound stocks.
Kevin Baird for News 8.
Portland police are investigating a major home repair scam that may have operated nationwide. Police say it involves two companies called Public Heating and Home Improvement and Interstate Heating. Sergeant John Verhill says the company specialized in home repair, targeting neighborhoods where senior citizens live.
A lot of senior citizens are very reluctant to report these crimes to us. Some of them aren't even aware of the fact that they have in fact been defrauded.
And Verhill says the four men who ran the companies were indicted on 55 counts of theft. Investigators say the scam made more than $200,000. Hollywood seems to be saying hooray for Oregon. The number of movies made in the state has increased fivefold in the past 4 years, and 1991 was a banner year. The movie Frozen Assets was shot in Portland last year. That production and several other movies helped break in $23 million in 1991. Oregon's movie revenue shows quite a growth curve, considering in 1987 only $6 million worth of out-of-state productions were completed here. Well, now Oregon's reputation precedes the state in Hollywood.
Is the people that have experience here and know some people and know that it's a beautiful state, that type of thing. And the other feedback is that the production crews that are available here are increasing in their profile and credibility and that type of thing in the Hollywood community, and that's quite good for us.
The latest movie deal in the works is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. The deal hasn't been signed yet, but the Turtles and their production crew could be coming to Astoria this summer. 3 other movies and one made-for-TV movie are already on Oregon's roster for 1992. It is possible that one of the country's best-known business leaders could be retiring soon. Chrysler Chairman Lee Iacocca has scheduled a news conference tomorrow, and there's speculation he will name his own successor. The New York Times reports Iacocca has persuaded General Motors executive Robert Eaton to move over to Chrysler. The company has no comment tonight. Just ahead on News 8 at 11, Pete Parsons will be here to let us know if sunshine will play a major role in the local weather this week. And the Blazers talk about their loss to the Celtics.
Silo's National Appliance and Electronics Sale is now on. Save $100 on this Sony camcorder or $50 to $500 on all picture-in-picture TVs. Get fantastic savings in all departments at Silo's sale.
If you want action, if you want adventure, you won't want to miss Mazda Mania, the year's premier sales event with up to $1,200 cash back from Mazda on a tough Mazda truck. Don't miss these epic savings. Don't miss Mazda Mania.
At your local Mazda dealer now.
Time. For some people, there's plenty. And going shopping is how they spend their time. Seeking out only the best places and most exclusive names. But if you live and work in the real world, you'll appreciate finding what you wear, what works for you, all in one place at one time. Value for your time and money. You'll find it at Fred Meyer.
My wife bets me that I can't go into Builder's Square Garden Shop and get only what I need. Ha! Pruning shears, that's all I need are pruning shears. I don't need seed, fertilizer, hoses, sprinklers. No. I'm not the least bit interested in these yard tools. Even this weed Terminator doesn't faze me. Look at these prices. So, I owe the wife $1.
Builder's Square, the warehouse with everything for your house and your garden.
Why the raft?
Flakes get soggy. Milk.
Gee, I don't.
You Quaker Oats squares are whole grain oats. Sprinkle of brown sugar.
And we stay crunchy in.
Milk.
Quaker Oats squares. You'll love them from square one.
You never know it based on the warm weather we've been having, but we are actually in the last few days of winter.
Still winter. We didn't really have much of a winter.
No, we didn't. Not
no
here.
Snow. We ended up with no snow officially in downtown Portland or at the Portland Airport for the winter, assuming we don't get any for the next couple of days, and I doubt very much that we will. Our mild weather is continuing. Spring, by the way, officially begins just after midnight Friday morning, so this is the last weekend of winter coming to a close and the last week of winter beginning. Cloudy skies right now, 53 degrees at the airport, humidity at 80%, wind south at 3, the pressure's holding steady at 29.85 inches. High today, 63 degrees. That does not look at all like winter. Average for this date, 54. Today's low, 49 degrees. And rainfall, well, we picked most of that up right after midnight, 11/100ths of an inch since midnight. And the freezing level over Salem this afternoon, 6,300 feet, and shouldn't come too much lower, maybe a little bit. We're going to see some light snowfall amounts in the mountains. Here's a look at our satellite loop over the past 18 hours, and we'll see a low-pressure area off the northern California coastline and the counterclockwise circulation around a low pressure, driving moisture up into us. Here's the band that went through late last night and produced about 1/3 of an inch of rain throughout the local area. The leading edge of the cool air now all the way into the Rockies, but there are more bands of moisture circulating around, mainly into southwestern and south central Oregon right now, but we're going to be under the threat of these for the next 48 hours or so. I think by Wednesday, we'll start to dry out as this low weakens and moves inland. But in the meantime, we're going to have a threat of rain around, but also some breaks, so a mix, some sun breaks, some clouds, and some showers, kind of typical spring weather as we finish out winter. Here's the rainfall ending at 4 p.m. Again, over 1/3 of an inch at the airport, 11/100ths of that falling during this calendar day. Just about 1/4 of an inch here in downtown, 15/100ths in Hillsboro. Estacada picking up 1/3 of an inch, Boring over 1/4, and out in Gresham over 1/2 inch of rain. It came down pretty hard just after midnight. Not too much falling east of the Cascades, but just about everybody getting into the shower act. About 1/3 of an inch down at Eugene. Brookings picking up 18/100ths. Now, in the last 6 hours, you can see most of the shower activity confined to the southwest corner. That's where that next band of moisture is. Those things are moving north, so there is a threat of more rain showers right on through the next 24 to 36 hours. Highs today, though, very mild, 50s and 60s west of the Cascades. Same story east side. We're going to start to see a little bit of cooling as this low pressure area makes its way inland. It will bring in somewhat cooler air. Nationally, more cold air pouring into the northeast. Palermo, New York, and upstate New York picking up, unbelievably, 85 inches of snow since Friday night. Unbelievable amounts of snow into the northeast. Record warmth moving into the northern plain states, even up in Williston, North Dakota, up to 65 degrees today. Generally fair in the southwest, although frontal system is moving in there now. 66 degrees in Salt Lake, 65 in Boise today, 68 degrees in Great Falls. That a record high as well. Record heat in the plains. Record cold up in the northeast. Caribou, Maine this morning, 5 degrees below zero. That was a record low temperature. Here's a look at it again. The wide shot out west. Here's the upper low we're dealing with, and the surface lows associated with that. All that moisture is moving inland, and it's going to give us a threat of showers for the next couple of days. Then high pressure should build in. We have a split in the jet stream out here, so there's not a lot of cold air funneling into the system, so it will weaken. Part of this next system may keep a shower threat in here early on Wednesday. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to start to dry things out. Here's a look at the 5-day forecast. Chance of showers tomorrow, Tuesday, then really decreasing on Wednesday. Right now, Thursday and Friday just look partly cloudy with temperatures near normal. No advisories up along the coastline. Variable wind at 5 to 15 knots. Tonight, a chance of showers everywhere across the state, but also a few stars sticking out. Snow level 4,000 to 5,000 feet. Tomorrow, same story. Chance of showers with some sun breaks. Snow level 4,000 to 5,000. West wind in the gorge. 42 the Dalles. 31 Burns tonight. Mid-40s throughout the Willamette Valley. Tomorrow, a little bit cooler, but still very mild. 54 Baker City, 51 Burns. Mid to upper 50s west side. Here's the forecast for the local area. Scattered showers tonight with light winds, low temperature at 45 degrees. And tomorrow, a few showers, but also some partial clearing periods. Much like today, I think a better chance of showers, though, tomorrow during the day than we had today. So starting out your work week, a touch on the wet side, but continued mild and not too bad. Finishing out winter the way most of the winter went, mild.
And spring is coming.
Yep.
Here's Joe.
Got a big night. The Blazers and Celtics put on quite a show in Boston today, and the man in the starring role, once again, Larry Bird. We've got highlights plus interviews coming up next in sports.
As I look out on this great Northwest, I feel a lot of pride.
This is the 1992 Geo Metro. After $7.50 rebate, all you pay is $65.34. America's highest gas mileage, 58 MPG highway. The Pump Pass and Penny Pension 92 Geo Metro, $65.34.
Driving you home in the great Northwest. Chevrolet and Geo.
See your local Chevrolet Geo dealer this week and save.
When you get BP Super, you get more than our highest octane. Like all BP gasolines, you get the highest level of cleaning power for your engine, which is why we can guarantee our gasolines won't cause fuel system problems of any kind. something you'll really appreciate during the spin cycle.
Try high-octane super at BP today.
BP, on the move.
There's no time to think about it. Smoke jumping's never a sure thing. You've got wind shifts, trees, smoke, and once you're on the ground, you can spend weeks on a blaze, tired and covered with soot, and still looking forward to the next jump.
You probably don't worry about diving into smoky skies, but every job has its risks. That's why half of Oregon employers choose Safe Corporation as their workers' compensation insurance company.
Every job has a downside. That's the best part of mine.
On the job, that's safe.
Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on the elegant new J30. A classic luxury sedan in an infinity kind of way. A driver's car with 2 airbags, soft leather appointments, and tasty wood. Hey, pal, don't you even think about it. The new J30 from Infinity.
Blazers closed their 4-game road trip today with a fantastic ball game at the Boston Garden. The Blazers and Celtics battled it out on national TV. There were many stars in this one, but the man of the hour was once again the legendary Larry Bird. Bird was playing despite an injured Achilles heel, and he played a great ball game. The 35-year-old forward playing in just his 8th game since his comeback from a back injury. He hits the jumper, but the Blazers countered with Clyde Drexler. Clyde had 4 3-pointers in the day. He had 20 points in the first half. The Blazers took the lead. Then it was Danny Ainge with some defense. He gets the steal, starts the break, and then whips it over to Jerome Kersey, and he powers it home. Blazers up by 4 at halftime, 62-58. Drexler was spectacular. He drives down the middle for the left-handed jam. The Blazers had a 5-point lead with less than 15 seconds to go in the game, but Bird was fantastic as well. 4th quarter, he was tough down the stretch. Bird scores. The Celtics cut the lead to 3, 122-119. The Blazers had a chance to seal the victory, but Jerome Kersey missed 2 free throws with less than 10 seconds to go, and Boston had one last chance to tie it.
Remaining in the 4th quarter. All right, here's Bird. Drexler all over him. He fires. It's a 3-pointer, and he's tied the game.
They went to overtime, tied at 122. The Blazers had a 2-point lead again, but with 4 seconds to go, Buck Williams missed a chance to clinch it. He missed both free throws, and Boston had one more try.
And now Gamble for Bagley, looking to tie it. Here's Gamble. Yes! Off the buzzer! And we go to a second overtime.
It was a wild game, and the 3rd time was the charm for Boston. Bird sparked the Celtics again with his jumper. Boston went on to win it. Drexler fouled out late in the 2nd overtime. He had 41 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists. He received a standing ovation. Bird was also spectacular, though. He had a triple-double, 49 points, 14 rebounds, 12 assists. The Celtics won it 152-148 in 2 overtimes.
Game for us. It's good for us to win. It shows that even when we're down in the 4th quarter, we can come back, and we was down in overtime. We made some shots, and Kevin Gamble had a big shot there to take it in the 2nd overtime. But overall, it was a tough battle, and they deserved to win just as much as we did, but we just scored a little bit more points.
He had a great game, but if we took care of our own business with our free throws, it wouldn't have really mattered what Larry done. You know, if we would have made some free throws down the stretch, that 3, if they even gave him a 3, we still would have been up by 1 or 2 points.
It's a tough loss for us after, you know, our 4th game on this trip, and played hard. It just didn't seem like it was in the cards. You got to give them all the credit. We didn't do what we had to do down the stretch, and they made big shots to put it in the overtimes, and they won the game. Got to give them credit.
Elsewhere in the NBA, Lenny Wilkens won his 800th game as an NBA coach. Cleveland beat Denver. The Suns down Minnesota. Houston held off Utah. The Clippers win again, and Seattle took care of Dallas 109-103. The NCAA tournament field was named today, and defending champion Duke is the #1 seed in the 64-team tournament. Duke won the ACC tournament today by 20 points over North Carolina. Kansas buried Oklahoma State. Purdue upset Indiana. Kentucky hammered Alabama. And Michigan State and Syracuse both posted victories today. Here's a look at the top seeds in each region. Duke is #1 in the East, followed by Kentucky, UMass, and Seton Hall. UCLA is the top seed in the West. Indiana is 2nd, Florida State 3rd, and Oklahoma is 4th. Ohio State is the #1 seeded team in the Southeast Regional. Arizona is 3rd, and Stanford is 12th. 4 teams made it from the Pac-10, including Southern Cal, which is the #2 seed in the Midwest, behind Kansas. The tournament will start on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Winterhawks played their final regular season game tonight when they took on Tacoma at the Coliseum. Portland jumped out to a 3-1 lead after the first period, including this goal by Chris Rowland. The Hawks then added 4 more goals in the second period. They go on to win this baby big. The score was 9-5. They opened the playoffs Friday at Spokane. And it was an exciting day for runners all over the state. The 14th annual Shamrock Run was held downtown. The 8K road race started and finished on Front Street. More than 4,500 runners took part in the race. 8 kilometers is just under 5 miles, and Matt McQuirk of Eugene was the winner in 23 minutes and 21 seconds. The women's winner, also from Eugene, Christy Johnston, finished in 26 minutes, 41 seconds. Very nice day, and I'm sure everyone had a nice time. And meanwhile, Corey Pavin hit the shot of the week on the 18th hole of the Honda Classic in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
He's checking it out. Oh, slam dunk, Dr. J.
He holed out the shot for an eagle, and Pavin went on to win the tournament in sudden death over Freddie Couples. The Blazers play at home on Tuesday against Minnesota and then play the Lakers on Wednesday in Los Angeles. Blazers played a great game, just missed a couple of free throws at an inopportune time.
Let's hope they'll do better Tuesday.
I'm sure they will.
Thanks, Joe. Coming up in our final segment tonight, Leapin' Leprechauns. Portland starts the St. Patrick's Day celebration early.
For the first time ever at Smith's Home Furnishings, we're holding over a sales event for a 3rd consecutive week. It's our spectacular employee sale, the sale that lets you buy at the same low prices we offer our own employees. Thousands of Smith's customers have already enjoyed incredible savings by purchasing furniture, appliances, and electronics at employee prices. Now you have one final chance to do the same thing. But don't wait. Employee prices will not be held over again. So come see us today at Smith's.
Where is the one and only place you can get treats like these? Dairy Queen. Who else treats you so right with a special like this? The legendary Peanut Buster Parfait is now just $1.29. Lay into layers of Dairy Queen soft serve, thick hot fudge, and peanuts aplenty. It's all here, and it's all yours now for just $1.29. We treat you right. Dairy Queen.
They've launched some of the legends of laughs on the next Good Evening. Chicago's Second City Theater has the corner on comedy.
Here we go, second act. What we do? Hello, Portland.
Are we watching the future of funny business? Then, this Northwest couple's dream house turned into a nightmare.
One of the original engineers that came through the house gave it an expectancy of 10 years.
How to avoid buying a live-in lemon. Plus, skincare products to help men save face. Monday at 7:30 on Channel 8.
As I look out on this great Northwest, I feel a lot of pride.
Chevy's best truck value ever. 1992 S10 Tahoe. Just $96.72 after rebate. You get V6, stereo cassette, sliding rear window, rear step bumper, more. Made in America. Chevy S10 Tahoe. Now $96.72.
Driving you home in the great Northwest. Chevrolet Geo.
See your local Chevrolet Geo dealer this week and save.
They say St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland, and the ancient legend is driving Portlanders into the streets to celebrate. This was Portland's 2nd annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. An eclectic collection of groups participated, from Scottish pipe bands to a Civil War group. The parade disbanded at the St. Patrick's Festival on 2nd Avenue. It ran through the weekend and will reopen on Tuesday, St. Patty's Day, and the weather will be...
We've got some weather that's going to green up some lawns, I think, for St. Patty's Day. A mix of some sun and some showers. Here's a look at it. Monday and Tuesday, a chance of showers each day. The showers should end, it looks like, on Wednesday, then drying back out for Thursday and Friday. And notice temperatures on the mild side, right where they should be this time of the year, right around 40 for lows and mid to upper 50 for highs.
That's it from here. Good night.
Good night.